Hi and welcome to my channel. So we all know that as an immigrant living in the UK or wanting to move to the UK, your ability to read, write, speak, understand English as well as communicating effectively in English is something that cannot be underestimated. And that is why English language tests like IELTS, for example, or OET are a huge part of moving to the UK, especially with professional jobs. Unfortunately, some colleagues, are not able to communicate effectively in English. And so what the UK has been doing is that they are now sacking people, immigrants, obviously, that are unable to speak English, that are unable to communicate effectively in English, unable to write English, despite being in the UK. So I'm doing this video to share this with you so that you're aware. And if you're somebody that your English is polishing, for whatever reason, then please get to work and, get busy on trying to improve that English. So obviously that's what I'm going to be covering in this video. What happened to these colleagues? What has happened to them? Because as you know, if you're an immigrant and you've got visa sponsorship, there is a huge implication if you're sacked from your job or if you're struck off. Worse still, if you've got any dependents, the consequences are going to be catastrophic, not only for you, but for the entire family. So I'm going to be covering in this video what has happened to this colleague, the outcome of all of this, and everything that has led to this whole unfortunate situation. So if you're new to my channel, obviously you're welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, I appreciate your time. And I hope that you're finding these videos helpful. I'm just here to bring you what is happening in the UK, what the expectations are, so that you are aware of what you should be doing. So I'm really passionate about, career progression in the UK, visa sponsorship opportunities, work from home jobs, side business opportunities that you can start in the UK to earn a lot more money. Because the truth is that many of these jobs that we're struggling to do don't even pay enough, but they are just there to keep us going until we get to that stage where we are more kind of independent with the things that we want to do. So I have a free newsletter where I share information about all these different things, UK updates, so that you never miss out and you've got that info directly in your inbox. So if you check the comment section below, I'm also going to drop it in the description box, but if you check the comment section below, you're going to see a link to my newsletter. Once you join that newsletter, then obviously I'll send all those updates to you and any helpful information about moving in the UK, moving to the UK, living in the UK, as well as career progression opportunities in this beautiful country, the UK. So you do want to make sure that, you're checking that out. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, you do want to hit subscribe right now. Turn on that notification button because you want to 100% be the first to be notified every single time when I drop a new video on here. So what am I talking about today? I'm talking about being able to speak English, being able to communicate effectively in English. And look, if you're somebody who is working in healthcare, so you're a healthcare professional, like a nurse, you're a carer, you're a doctor, how important is that being able to speak English? You can put patients at risk. Yes, because those professional bodies are going to say to you, if you're unable to communicate effectively in English, then you're putting the British public at risk, because obviously you're risking lives. And because of that, you end up sacked and struck off. And that's basically, what has happened to this colleague, of ours who has been found in a very unfortunate situation. Quite a few people have been sacked and struck off recently because of this English. And that's why, I've been kind of prompted to do this video, because even me at work, I'm seeing colleagues that you can barely understand what they're saying. And these are people who are nurses, these are people who are doctors, and you're thinking, well, if they have been able to pass this English test, how did they actually pass the test? Or did they not? But obviously, we all know the whole shebang and what goes on, and I've got no idea what's happening. So by the way, if you're watching this and you're wondering who I am, so my name is Melvis. I currently work as a nurse myself, so I'm an advanced nurse practitioner. Obviously I'm an immigrant myself in the UK, so I moved to the UK a few years ago now. As I was a carer working in a nursing home. That's how I started my own healthcare journey. And then I decided to progress into nursing. So I studied nursing here in the UK as an international student, graduating and then going on to that career progression and now becoming an advanced nurse practitioner, which is a very senior clinical nursing position. So I'm also very passionate about the opportunities that are here in the UK for us to improve. And look, this English is one of those things, because if you're saying that, you're going to remain whoever you're going to be, and you're not going to improve, it doesn't help, it does not work. You need to keep on improving your skills. And so I've got a private career coaching service where I support nurses, carers, students, student nurses, prospective student nurses, anyone who is looking for UK visa sponsorship jobs, to move to the UK, or to switch your visa if you're already in the UK, or obviously to remain in the UK with your beautiful family. Then if you check the description box below, then you are going to find a link to join my private coaching program. When you do join, then we get started with that career progression. If you're wanting to work as a nurse in the UK, you're already in the UK and you want career progression, work from home opportunities, side hustles, again, I support with all of that, because like I said previously, many of these jobs that we do don't even pay enough. So you need other ways, you need other smart ways of making more money so that it is worthwhile for you. So I'm looking forward to seeing you in that private coaching program so we can get started and support you with your UK career journey, whether it's career progression or securing visa sponsorship, like I've already said. So what happened to this colleague? Basically, this colleague went through the whole process, for example, of registering with the Nursing and Midwifery Council in the UK. And like I've said, there's been quite a few people sacked and struck off, recently because of this particular aspect, English. So, moved to the UK, did all the whole process, but it was found that so many errors were being made at work, and those were mainly attributed to the poor English. For example, documentation. If you look at a patient's notes, you're supposed to be able to read, clearly and without stressing out whatever is written on there. If you're a colleague and you're going to work and you need to document information, which is vital, because as you know, in healthcare especially, anything that isn't documented hasn't happened. Anything that you don't document, you have not done, basically. So documentation is key to your evidence. And if you were ever called upon to respond about a patient's case or anything that has happened at work, your documentation is what can help you. And look, if you're working in the UK, you can be called upon anytime, even years after that incident has happened. You can still be called upon to answer questions about the care that you delivered to anybody at any point in your nursing career or in your healthcare career. So it was found that this colleague wasn't documenting properly. They were making errors with drug errors, medication doses, not administering medications on time, not being able to explain things, when they were being asked to. And so there was, good evidence, and the nurse did acknowledge it as well. And like I say, it's been quite a few, cases of this recently. And the thing is, as more overseas workers move to the UK, I think this is something that is only going to be increasing further, because there are more cases like this than ever before. But obviously what happened was the colleague was then given an opportunity to improve their English. And look, when I say given the opportunity to improve their English, I mean doing courses. Some other people were offered to even write out another time. In fact, there's a case of a particular nurse that the NMC even offered to pay for another IELTS test for this particular colleague. But obviously, for whatever reason, they kept postponing the IELTS postponing, until at the end of the day, the NMC was like, look, we cannot continue this. You're going to be sacked and struck off. And that particular nurse was then sacked and struck off. Struck off means that obviously they were removed from the nursing register and banned from working as a nurse in this beautiful country, the UK. So again, with this colleague, similar things happened. There were complaints that were brought, So the whole point I'm trying to say is, if you're somebody who is from a country, for example, that isn't English speaking, say you're from a French country or whatever country that doesn't speak English, and you want to move to the UK, or you're currently in the UK, yes, you may have passed IELTS or OET. You may have come through a pathway that doesn't require IELTS or OET. Like, for example, the Nursing and Midwifery Council here in the UK has now implemented a new pathway where you can apply to work as a nurse in the UK, without IELTS or OET, especially if you're already obviously in the UK employed. There are many opportunities now to register. So you do need to be careful to make sure that if your English isn't up to scratch, if your English isn't good enough to offer and deliver that safe patient care, then you should look for ways of actively improving your English during your spare time. When you're home, you can read books, you can watch educative TV programs, you can still study out OET, not because you're writing a test, but I think it just helps. Maybe, I don't know, but you need to find a way of improving your skills and improving your English, because you can indeed be sacked and struck off because of poor English. And like I say, it is happening. And if you're an overseas, and by the way, if you're watching this and you haven't subscribed to the channel, you do want to hit subscribe right now. Turn on that notification button so you're the first to be notified every single time when I drop a new video on here. Also, if you haven't joined my newsletter, you want to check the comment section below. I've dropped a link on there. Once you join that newsletter, then I'll send you all updates, UK updates about career progression opportunities, visa sponsorship opportunities, free ways of moving to the UK, different updates and changes that are happening in the UK, such as this one, as well as work from home opportunities and side hustles that you can start so that you can earn more money. Because like I've said, earning more money in the UK is something that I cannot underestimate, because many of these jobs that we do are not going to pay you enough. If you've got any questions, please do leave them in the comment section below, because then I'll join you and answer. If you need more details about any particular pathway, any questions about the topic of discussion in this video, because I know that it's very sensitive, again, do feel free to drop a comment in the comment section. If there's something that is more private and you're thinking, oh my goodness, Melvis, I've got this in mind, I just cannot put this on YouTube, again, use my newsletter. You're going to find all my contacts on there. You can contact me directly and I'll be able to respond to you in due time. Because like I say, some of this information obviously is very disheartening, but is there to give you guidance, to help you, to inform you on what is going on, so that you don't make these mistakes. Because some of us that moved to the UK have made so many mistakes, and the whole point of sharing is that those of you that haven't made these mistakes, you should avoid making these mistakes, because like I've said, the consequences can be very catastrophic. If you're an overseas candidate and you're sacked and struck off from your job, your visa sponsorship also gets withdrawn. And if your visa sponsorship is withdrawn and you've got dependents, let's say you've got a wife, you've got a partner, you've got a husband, you've got kids, they are going to lose their visas as well. Because even though it depends on yours, if the main applicant loses the visa, loses the sponsorship, the whole family is going to lose, obviously, the sponsorship and lose the ability to remain lawfully and legally in the UK. So do share this with your friends, with your mates, with your colleagues. As new pathways evolve, as new pathways are implemented to work in the UK without IELTS, I'm the first person on here to share videos and opportunities to move to the UK without IELTS, without any English requirements whatsoever. But you do need to make sure that your English is up to scratch and you are able to communicate effectively. So again, you need to just test yourself. You need to make sure that you keep on improving, and do share this video with your friends to make sure that they are aware. And I hope that you found it helpful and you're able to implement all of what is said. I'll see you in the next video.